Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel once again for another PSGL E-Series video. Here today we are at Canada for round 6, back alongside Alvaro Caraton, and yeah, looking forward to this one. Obviously happy memories for me. If you know anything about me in F1 esports, definitely one of my favourite memories. As part of this series coming a few years ago in Canada, as part of the Pro Exhibition Series, winning that race against much of the current grid. Obviously, a lot of things have changed since then. And once again, we have a very cloudy Canada, but I don't think there's any rain forecasted for today, sadly.
Why is the stream
But
black
yeah,
again?
heading into this one, pace was looking pretty decent in terms of qualifying pace, not too bad. So yeah, looking forward to this one, seeing what we can try and pull off.
Yeah.
And
when he joins, he will join.
But yeah, in terms of race pace, we were very much struggling once again
die.
in practice. Not that we practice race pace a lot, but it's just starting to become a little bit of a trend now, where our race pace just hasn't been fantastic.
Like in PSGL.
Yeah, it's a weird one, especially for myself. I was very much a race pace merchant in the past, even on the previous game. Race pace was very, very strong, but I mean, enough of that. We are in qualifying now, and we can worry about that later. But heading on to our first lap of Q1 here, trying to get the job done with just one set of tyres would be absolutely ideal, but it's super difficult to try and convert laps here. I mean, there's so many danger zones in terms of corner cutting. It's so easy to invalidate the lap. First one coming up here into turn 3. It's a bit of a blind corner until you're basically right on top of it, so you have to try and turn in and hope you've got it right in a way. And heading into the end of sector 1, going purple, and trying to get a good traction now off this chicane is, yeah, easier said than done. Very deceptive corner there, but now this one here, turns 8 and 9, really tricky. Try and jump over the inside curb on the right and just pray that the car lands in a nice way to try and get on the power through the second part of that chicane. Now trying to get, once again, a good traction straight in the car as soon as possible over that left hand side curb to try and maximise your speed down this very long back straight before the Wall of Champions chicane here, breaking between the 150 metre board. And we take that very safely. DRS open once again, just so we get a clean lap, as we say. We set 9.3, which is not amazing going off of practice, but we jump into the pits and we see that both myself and Alvaro go to the top of the leaderboards, so we decided to retire, save the tyres, and we easily go through in P3 and 4 there after everyone went for their runs. So that's good. Saving a set of tyres is always nice. Jumping into Q2 now on that old set of tyre run. We set a 9.5 banker to just give ourselves a delta, going marginally behind Thomas Runha. Now heading on to our first new tyre run here in Q2. Once again trying to get the job done. Obviously a little bit harder in this part of qualifying, but we take turn 3 and 4 pretty nicely, get those cuts pretty good. Heading into the end of sector 1, we go purple once again, so it seems like we're hooking up sector 1 pretty decently at the moment, having a little bit of a squiggle on the traction out of turn 6 there, I believe, or turn 7 maybe, because I believe this is 8 and 9 through this chicane here. And yeah, we do that pretty nicely as well, just over 3.5 tenths up, heading into the hairpin. See if we can spot our braking point just around the 100 metre board into this hairpin, and we do that pretty nicely, got a good traction, and now we are 4.5 tenths up on our 9.5. So as long as you can close this lap out nicely through the chicane, it is pretty set in stone that we should go through to the next part of qualifying. Take a couple of stabs with the steering through the chicane. It was not ideal, but we take it pretty safely, and we do a 9.0. And we decided to retire in the pits, and we're just waiting for our teammate now through the last couple of corners. He had to go again.
Got a lot of time in this last chicane.
On another set of tyres, unfortunately, just showing how difficult it is. Goes provisional P9 with a few cars left behind to potentially improve, but it looks like hopefully
that gonna be enough?
Yeah, I
he
think
should be
you're
okay here. It looks like
Holy fuck, man.
only
I think
one
it's
other
just
car
Luke.
will be improving,
That was
which will be Luke
tense.
Smith coming
Yeah.
across the line here to go provisional P8.
Yeah, I
Beat
seen you
them.
took. I seen you took it.
And
To
it means that we just about squeeze through with both cars there. Alvaro giving us a little bit of a scare. His pace has been really, really good heading into this race, but it just shows this track is it's not always about who's the fastest, it's who can deliver. And we deliver
not
an
bad.
8.9 banker into Q3 on our first run, and now going for our final run in Q3 now. And we are just going to try and improve as much as we can in provisional P4 after that first run, but it's just super close at the top. So any kind of improvement here could set you onto pole position. But we're just a couple of hundreds up now, heading into the end of the first sector, clobbering that inside curb here, not getting a great traction, and yeah, that was an ideal. And so we are now going from a couple of hundreds up to a couple of hundreds down through 8 and 9, a little bit wide of that first apex, once again compromising our exit. And we are now heading into sector 3, almost absolutely in line with our previous lap, trying to just shave anything we can off our delta, but it's really, really, really even between our previous lap here. Tried to pick up any sort of hint of toe there from Alfie Butcher going slowly on the right. We're just a couple of hundreds up heading to last chicane. How much risk are we going to take? We get a decent cut, but we just didn't carry a great amount of speed.
I thought I'd gain more than that. Fuck's sake.
We do an 8.86, and we are P4 with the top 3 covered by 4 thousandths. We were 36 thousandths from pole and P4, and I felt pretty hard done by out after that. But yeah, great job from the guys in front of us to get those laps in. It's super, super close, and yeah, fair play to them, because it wasn't like our lap was bad, but it just wasn't optimized. But now onto the race. We have 5 red lights, and lights out, and away we go, and we get a good launch up against our teammate and Ruben Pedreño here. So we're going to try and look around the outside of the first corner, but we just have to back out, as Alvaro was also looking around the outside of Ruben there, and as a result we get a little bit boxed out, and we are down into P5 behind Thomas.
Yeah, sorry,
just trying to escape around our outside, but I'm just going to have to play it cool, filter in behind and see how these guys negotiate this first lap, see if we can get that position back. Thomas Ronhard now trying to make his move round the outside of our teammate Alvaro Caraton. We get a good switchback, and now we're going to deploy the battery now and get that place back. Now we a little bit of slipstream there from our teammate, and a little bit of miscommunication from turn 1 is now undone, so all good there. But it's just such a tricky section to try and go side by side, and you know, such a short run down to turn 1. All the cars are super compacted, and yeah, it's very, very difficult. So all good on that respect, but we are now
more damage behind.
Now yeah, consolidated our start into P3 and 4 where we started, so that is all good. But as we were sort of mentioning earlier, our feeling in the race was not brilliant. And there was a lobby restart between qualifying and the race where I did make a change, but what I did was absolutely mess the car up in essence. So a bit of a spoiler, this is not going to be a fun stint for us. I think I either by accident or some weird thought decided to take some rear wing off, and that just completely upset the balance of the car. And already by the middle of lap 2, not even the middle of lap 2, we have our first corner cutting warning of the race. And as you can see here, Thomas Ronhard is right up behind us. Clearly he's got a better feeling in his Haas F1 car than we do here.
Yeah, that's...
and we are struggling. We're down to almost 50% battery by lap 9. And as you can see here, losing the back end through the middle of that chicane. And we pick up another corner cutting warning.
Yeah, this.
Warning, sorry. And yeah, we are on our final warning already, less than a third of the way through the race. And now we are very much driving on our mirrors here. Thomas Ronhard's going for the move down into turn 1. We choose the inside line, leaving him just about enough space on the outside. And he just draws up alongside us, and we are going to have to back out here into turn 3. It's basically impossible to try and go around the outside here. Try and do the under and over on him and see if we can get another move done into the chicane. Try and slow him down to get him out of that DRS zone. so we can get that move back. But as you'll be able to see here from the activation point, he just snuck within it at the detection point, just. So now we're going to have to sit him behind, down to P5, and now we have Dylan Warren climbing all over the back of us here.
Click of rear wing on.
For the TF10 team, now part of the Loche, I believe. And we are going to sort of feint a defence to the inside, but he's going to make the move stick here. And yeah, trying to get on the traction. And
I have no ERS, man. Sorry, no
really
DRS.
struggling on the rear end, as always it seems.
A shame.
But especially in this race, our feeling in the car was pretty awful, if I'm being absolutely honest. And missing our braking zone.
Don't worry too much about Dylan, just let him attack
up against it now.
Yeah,
and Dylan Warren is now going on the attack of Thomas Reinhardt down the inside of turn 1, and muscles him out there, gets the move done, and Thomas rejoins into our path, gives us a little bit of a knock for our troubles, and we can't quite get that done. Had we just got a better exit off that last corner, we would have had that move done. But down into P6, we are now jumping into the pits at the end of lap 18. We've had enough of that feeling of the car. Going to make a little bit of a front wing adjustment.
He pushed me off, man. He pushed me off, man.
But now we are hearing in our radio, as we're in the pits, that our teammate has had a bit of an incident into the first couple of corners, I believe, with Matthias van Erven. And it has come off with our teammate falling down the order, well and truly losing a lot of time here. I think well in excess of 5, 6, 7 seconds, I think. And he is now completely out of that front pack battle. And he'll be falling probably way out of the top 10 at this point.
Let's not focus on it
so
then.
yeah, it's not been a great first half of the race for us. Obviously, my mistake with the setup and falling down the order a couple of places, and now
Ty's in this lap,
being
Tom's
pushed
staying
out.
out.
So this could be a pretty big swing for the Haas F1 team here. Obviously, both of their cars currently into the top few positions, and both Williams cars are down. And you know, even if Haas didn't have a great start to the season, you can never discount those guys. Obviously, another top esports team.
Just barge Kodor out the way.
And as you can see, didn't want to get that move done on Kodor Ngola. I've probably butchered that, so apologies if I have. And we are in a race with him. He did go for a bit of an undercut here, so he's going to have slightly older tyres, but he's not going to be pulling out the way. This is for position, even though we haven't actually seen Kodor at all this race, I don't believe. I think he had a pretty decent qualifying, but yeah, he's jumped a fair few positions, I think, in the pits, as you can see the remainder of the top
right, Alvaro, there's a lot of gaps for you to work with here, so just show your pace, make the overtakes, right? Do your thing.
Better, I think, almost clearing the entirety of that train. So that has worked out perfectly for him. And now we're going to be trying to see if we can suss out a move here on the tyres here on his fresh medium tyres. Obviously they're going to be very cold out of the pits, and you can see we are right up behind him here on our warm tyres. But yeah, the lack of battery means we cannot do anything against him here. All that battery we've had to waste in that first stint is now coming back to bite us as his teammate rejoins in the absolutely perfect point here with his teammate.
Should have stayed one more lap, man.
So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for us. Obviously now
I'm stuck now.
Making a move against these guys has just got twice as difficult, as he lets his teammate go there as he has the colder tyres. So smart decision there by those guys. And once again, there's not much really I can do, as Thomas will have the DRS and the higher battery percentage, I imagine. So yeah, just gonna have to tuck in behind now and try and play it patient. But it's not looking good. We have lost a couple of positions, and it's looking difficult to try and regain them. And now Istvan Pukki is getting all over the back of us here, and he's going to send one down the inside here, making
what the fuck are you
huge
doing?
Contact with us there on the inside of the hairpin.
Absolute
and
rat.
yeah, I mean, it was just a bit
of
a crazy lunge, to be honest. I think he just wasn't going to stop unless he used me as a bit of a break there. So I was kind of surprised that he went for that and then didn't give the place back on the exit.
What the fuck?
So yeah, not at all impressed with that. But now we are down to P9. As you see the Ferrari cars up ahead swapping, we have Modesto Mena now in the middle of this top group. Now we have Thomas Paradzis all over the back of us. So now we're going to have to turn defense into attack. We're going to dive down the inside of Istvan Pukki here to try and defend from that McLaren. And yeah, now
What the
those
hell?
guys are having a moment
Okay,
here
it's
with
desync.
desync or ghosting or whatever that is. But now we are on to the back of Modesto Mena, who hasn't pitted yet on the old hard tyres, and is trying to do a bit of a favour for his mate in the other Ferrari FVR car. Obviously these guys are currently bottom of the championship and are desperate for some points, but yeah, now he is completely ruining our race, and once again, as in France, is just getting involved in our race, which is completely separate to his. Yeah, it's just not how to make friends on an F1 circuit. Obviously, we're not here to make friends; we're here to race, and this is for position. But yeah, it's really unfortunate, to say the least. We are now over 2 seconds off the back of the DRS train, and his teammate does have 6 seconds of corner cutting penalties, so I'm not really sure what he was kind of expecting to get done there with that defending, because we were never going to fall that far behind him, especially with his older tyres. So yeah, interesting tactics, I'll say, but we move on nonetheless. But we have no battery, we have no slipstream, we have no DRS. So now we're going to be a sitting
this bro.
to the likes of Isam Pookie once again.
It's a
He's going
mess,
to get the move done cleanly this time on the inside, heading into the last chicane. And he also has no battery.
Just be aggressive, to be honest.
So
it's the best way to play this.
Yeah, trying to catch up to this top group once again is going to be severely difficult, and we may be restricted now to the likes of P7. But we aren't giving up. We are very low on the battery now, but we spot that we are closing in on the DRS detection zone of Kodor and Angola. So we're going to make the move down the inside here. We are at 1.1, 1.2 to the back of the Ferrari. So if we can have a good first couple of sectors to this lap, we can try and consolidate that DRS detection and see if we could possibly make up a couple of more positions heading into the last 7 laps of this race. But it looks like P5 will be the upper limit of what we can achieve here. The top 4 have escaped, and now we have the likes of Tarascal and Kodor, as we mentioned, in front of us, having gone for that aggressive undercut strategy. And as you can see here, we do indeed pick up that DRS detection. So moving on a couple of laps later here, we have managed to slowly make our way onto the back of these guys, not wasting too much battery, so we can deploy here. Bit indecisive of which way Kodor was going to go there. I think he was letting us go pretty easily, so thank you to him, but yeah, just got a little bit confused onto the back of him. But we make that move stick nonetheless, and we give him a little bit of a thank you weave. I think he knows that we are not in the same race, but yeah, it's such a shame that we got caught up in other people's battles through the mid part of this race, because going from a position where we were with that top 4, we are now 8+ seconds behind, and now we're just playing for P5 here once again, and it's just not where we want to be, not where we expect to be, as Tarascal gets a huge slide off there, and we'd think we were in Tokyo with that kind of drift, but yeah, well saved by him. But you can see with that aggressive undercut strategy, he has absolutely run out of tyres, it seems, and he lets his teammate go, Isfan Pookie. Those Parnell cars working together, obviously. So now we have no battery once again, and we're just going to try escape best we can, heading on to the last lap of the race, try and consolidate this position. But we have very little to work with here. So we're going to do the best we can. Obviously, I think with the move that Isfan made on us earlier on in the race, he should be picking up a penalty, but we can't rely on that. You never know what stewards will come out with in the end decision, so we're going to have to try and consolidate this on track and get this done. And even if Matthias does get a penalty for his incident with Alvaro, unless it's a 10-second penalty, it's not going to be enough for us to gain any positions or for him to lose any. So yeah, a bit of a shame, because I believe we should have been in that front pack, but for one reason or another, myself and Alvaro have found ourselves knocked out of it for, as I say, one reason or another, and it's a big shame. But moving on now, we can't have a perfect race every time out. We had a perfect start to the season, 4 wins out of 4, and the last couple have been a little bit more difficult. So a bit of an opportunity for others to make gains in us. Obviously, Haas getting a P3 and 4, sort of trying to spark a little bit of life into their championship fight. Ruben Pedreño wins the Canadian Grand Prix, followed by Dylan Warren, Thomas Ronhar, Matthias van Erven, and myself, P5 across the line. We held on against this one, and yeah,
interesting race.
Let's
call it that.
We were pretty angry after that race. Our teammate comes home P11, obviously points for every position, so glad he kept going and picked up a good few points for the team. I think it was about 10 points for that position, roughly. But yeah, as you'll be able to see here from the updated spreadsheet, Matthias did indeed pick up a 5-second penalty, but as I said, nothing really changed there by that decision. Other noteworthy things, Isfan picking up a 5-second for the incident with us, but yeah, a bit of a difficult race, bit of an unfortunate one. I think had I not made a silly setup adjustment, it could have been very, very different, and just a couple of hundredths quicker in the qualifying session could have been a very, very different race today. But yeah, we live and we learn, and yeah, we'll be looking for better next time out. But yeah, that's all she wrote for the Canadian Grand Prix, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care and peace out.